Although anyone can buy the Penon Fan 2 on the Penon website for $280, it is not intended to be a retail product. Penon produces the fan line, and the 2 is, as you might guess, the second fan so far, specifically for fans of their website. And how do you become a fan, you might ask? It turns out that all you need to do is sign up for their newsletter. Eventually, you'll get an email inviting you to purchase the Fan 2 at a 50% discount. That's right around $140, with free shipping from Hong Kong. And I might as well say it right up front. In my opinion, no matter what you pay for them, the Penon Fan 2s are another extraordinary IEM. The Fan 2 is a typical Penon product, meticulously crafted, a beautiful shell that hugs the ear, and a long nozzle for deep insertion. With high-quality drivers, tuned to get the best sound out of the paired 6mm crystal-plated biological drivers for the bass and lower mid-range, and a Sonyan BA for the mids, and Knowles BA for the treble. The dynamics are probably cellulose of some kind, but with a coating of some mineral, to make them stiffer and to prevent moisture damage over time. Whatever they are, they deliver a deep, rich, quick bass, a bit thicker than some of the dynamics I've heard recently, namely the Eiffel Performer 8 and the Kiwi Ears Quintet, but very satisfying. And the Sonyan BA lives up to its reputation for exceptional mid-range. Vocals and instrumentals in the vocal range are crisp and what I can only describe as lovely. Smooth, realistic, balanced, and musical. And I'm assuming they went with the Knowles BA for the treble because Knowles are well known for their treble performance in a rightly tuned IEM. Though not as extended as some, the treble on the Fan 2 is clear and ringing without ever being harsh. Cymbals and bells chime more than shimmer, a less metallic and more open musical sound. There's no sibilance on voices or strings, and there is enough air to make them realistic. Claps are solid and carry well through the mix. All in all, the treble is highly satisfying and easy to listen to for extended periods. But what makes the Fan 2 special, and in my opinion easily puts it in the same class of extraordinary as the Kiwi Ears Quintet and the Eiffel Performer 8, is the detail, instrument placement, and above all, the sense of space that the fans build around the music. They introduce a sense of grandeur to everything you listen to, from orchestral works to folk ensemble to single vocalists and guitar or piano. Though the soundstage is every bit as wide as the stage on the quintet, and that is saying something, it is much more spherical than the quintets. It is as deep and tall as it is wide. It is even more spacious than the already rounded presentation of the Eiffel Performer 8. Going from the P8 to the Fan 2 on the same track adds a dimension, a depth, a resonance that just makes everything sound bigger, fuller, more robust, more grand. Note that I did not say better anywhere in there. The sound is markedly different without being better or worse. It really depends on my mood. Sometimes I want to be right inside the music, and I pick up the quintet. Sometimes I want the music to envelop me and carry me away to another space altogether, and I pick up the Fan 2. Sometimes I just want pure music and nothing but the music, and I pick up the Performer 8. 3 different presentations. Great music and a great musical experience, an extraordinary musical experience, each way. I have been listening to Timothy Crane's Halo from his album of the same name. It is almost 10 minutes of various musical landscapes driven by a percussive piano. There are 2 sections where there are cascading piano notes, a run down and then up the scale, somewhere right of center stage and back, running front and left. As I listen with the Fan 2 and the quintet and the P8, I listen to how the cascading piano notes are placed in the mix and in space. Each portrays the cascade slightly differently, and then I let myself be swept up into the complex interplay of the instruments and let them build a space around me that is unique to each IEM, and enjoy each one, from the grand reaching space of the Fan 2s to the more linear array of the quintets, to the unvarnished reality of the P8s. Then, too, there's a new recording, a collaboration between 2 of my favorite classical crossover groups, Simply 3 and Brooklyn Duo, a cover of Don't Stop Believing. This is done as an old-style instrumental rock anthem, heavy drums and electric guitars, with piano, cello, violin dancing in and out, over and under, all around the beat. A sonic feast. As an exercise, to see just what your IEM is good for, just try to track the piano through the mix. Only the piano, whatever the piano is doing at every second. I guarantee that if you make the effort to track the piano, it will open the music in a way you may not have heard before. And don't get me wrong, though the Fan 2s excel where grandeur is called for, they do just as well with a more intimate setting. Try Adele's Easy on Me. Her vocal over the piano is raw and big and grabs you by the ears and kicks you somewhere behind your heart. Or how about Change on the Rise by Ave Kaplan, rich and smoky like bright embers in the ash of a cedar fire. Or the new folk album by Martin Simpson and Tom Jutz. Try Come All You Fair and Tender Ladies, featuring the raw silk voice of Clara Dillon over the crystal interplay of the two instruments. Spectacular on any IEM, extraordinary on the Fan 2. Other IEM comparisons? If you're among those who like the Kiwi Ears Quartet, then the Fan 2 is the quartet, just done better and more expensive with it. Just as engaging and just as fun, but with an extra measure of refinement and undoubtedly a much expanded sense of space. And the same comparison I used for the quartet and Celeste Phoenix Call in my review of that IEM, to pick an IEM that comes in at about the same price as the discounted Fan, applies here too. The Fan 2 is dark roast coffee, and the Phoenix Call is light roast. Only in this case, the Fan 2 is fresh ground and hand-pressed single-bean, single-cup coffee, and the Phoenix Call is maybe a good ground mix, bagged and perked and served out of the pot, if you think you can taste that difference. And remember, I really like the Phoenix Call. The IEM I really want to compare the Fan 2 is the new Theaudio Hype 2. They are very similar in design, and not that far apart in price if you're paying full retail for the Fan. I'm not sure I can convince myself to spend $300 on the Hype 2 just on the chance it is actually, to my ear, even more extraordinary than the Fan 2. Maybe they'll have a Prime Day special on the Hype 2 that I will not be able to resist. Or maybe Theaudio could be convinced to loan me one. Before I finish, I should mention that the Fan 2 comes in a very plain Penon yellow box, wrapped around a nice, if somewhat large, bright blue, deeply padded zipper case, with the Penon logo in gold. You can get it with your choice of 3.5mm single-ended or 4.4mm balanced cables. Both are excellent quality. Two-strand braided nylon-covered silver-plated copper, with elegant fittings and no ear hooks, but the nylon covering is easy over your ears. They also come with a better-than-average set of tips, which include a couple of varieties of silicone, excellent foam tips, a hybrid silicone and foam, and there's even a set of double-flange silicones. I recommend as wide a bore tip as you can find that inserts deeply in your ear. I'm using the TRI Clarions, which I like just a bit better on the Fan 2s than either the JVC spiral dots or the green core silicone tips that came with the Fan. The included tips are probably fine and might be fine for you. The TRI Clarions, to me, open the top end of the Fan 2 just a bit more without sacrificing much, if any, bass. So there you have it. The Penon Fan 2s are another extraordinary IEM, joining the Eiffel Performer 8 and the Kiwi Ears Quintet in my collection. But if I could only own one extraordinary IEM, at $140, even at twice that price, it would, as of right now, have to be the Fan 2. And yes, the Fan 2s definitely made me a Penon fan.